Today, we're going to be sharing with you how to have patience in youth ministry. Something every person needs, right? We all need that virtue of patience, but especially as youth ministers, patience with ourselves, patience with those we serve, and patience with actually our ministry forming. So whether you are a brand new youth minister or you're someone who has been in the field of ministry 5, 10, 15, even 20 years, you might be saying, yes, I need more patience, because we all need it. We need it in everyday life. We need it with our families, with our friends. We all need patience. And I think that's why Jesus referenced it so much in the Gospels and in throughout our Bible, we hear it. And that is because he knew it's something we're going to struggle with, right? So I have here today with me a guest. You might be saying, who is that sitting next to Kari? Who is this random person? Well, from time to time, I plan to bring on guests in my show. And this is someone who is very near and dear to my heart. Her name is Creel. She's a new youth minister, but I actually met Sarah back over 10 years ago when I started at this parish where I am now a youth minister over 10 years. I got a phone call from her mom and she said to me, "Oh, hello, my name is Mrs. Creel and I have 3 children. One will be in each of your groups. One for the middle school group, the high school group, and the young adult group." And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. Flash forward 10 years later, here we are. Sarah is a new youth minister, starting a ministry out in our diocese, and she is a new youth minister. And so it's really cool to see where God has taken her, but not only her whole family. So check this out. Her older sister just entered the CFR, better known as the Franciscan Sisters, up in Harlem. She's in formation, so we're really excited for her and see where God takes her in her discernment in that. We're praying for her. And then the youngest brother, who is studying to be a priest for our diocese. So the reason why I chose Sarah to be on today, not only because she's a new youth minister, but also because she was part of a program early on in my ministry called Spiritual Guidance. And it was separate guys and girls sharing. And during that time, we had only 2. Yes, 2 girls coming. And so that was difficult to kind of say, is this something we should continue? Is it really going where we want it to? But slowly it started to grow more and more, 2, 4, 6, and then more and more girls were coming, and we realized it is a good thing. Guys were coming, girls were coming, and it was a good sharing time. We still have that program today, so I'm so thankful that Sarah and those others that started off with a very small community came, because it encouraged me to keep it going. And so Sarah has been a part of that, and I would love for you to just, Sarah, share about those early years of youth ministry and how it's taken you to where you are today.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I came to youth group and got very involved right away. Youth group, when I was in high school, I started freshman year of high school and continued all the way through high school to my senior year, and then joined the young adult group and became a volunteer, and I was leading retreats as a high schooler. You were always
giving back. It was great to see you just coming back and being a part of it.
Yeah. So I was leading retreats, I was on the core team, I was volunteering, helping the other groups out. I was helping you out.
Yes, everything I needed. Sarah, can you help with this? Can you help with that? You were just great. We love those young adults that are always willing to serve. Use those young adults in your ministry, and you were one of them for us, for sure.
Yeah. And especially when you were out, I was always there, like, willing to help whenever I could. And I loved it. I loved being able to be there, and I loved all the kids. So I loved being there and helping.
Yeah, and that was great. And I bet that time kind of gave you that getting your feet wet and being involved, especially when I was out. I couldn't be there. I was on maternity leave.
Yeah. And
so you were able to kind of lead the youth in a very empowering way for you as a leader in my absence. But then also, I bet it kind of got your feet a little wet to say, hey, this is something I can do.
Definitely.
And so you were approached just recently, right, in the last 6 months to lead, to be the main youth minister. And where is that at?
Our Lady of Guadalupe.
In South Jersey, in the Camden Diocese. So how has that been for you now? Okay, you need to start. They had no youth ministry there.
No youth ministry.
So you're starting it off. So what has that been like for you to get this groundwork laid to now lead this ministry after coming from somewhere where it has been involved for a while?
Yeah. Honestly, it's been so exciting and so scary all at the same time.
Natural. That's very natural to feel that.
Just because we started from nothing, and it's a pretty big parish. They have a school there as well, St. John Paul II Regional School. And so there's a lot of kids. And I remember when I was in high school youth group, I always remember, like, in the back of my head, like, thinking, wow, like one day, like I want to do this. Like I would
Oh.
love to like just watching
Makes me
you
happy,
do what
yeah.
you're doing, and like
Oh,
I was always like, wow, I would
thank you,
love
Jesus.
I would always think like, wow, I'd love to be a youth minister
Yeah.
one day, and now here I am. I was asked like over the summer if I would be willing to help start this youth group.
Mhm.
And of course I said yes right away, and I was so excited. But as we, continue to move forward with growing this youth
Mhm.
group, I realized how much patience you really need.
Mhm. Patience is definitely a virtue.
Yeah.
We need to pray to the Holy Spirit for it. Like, give us patience in
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
Yeah. And I keep reminding myself almost every single day, every youth group meeting we have,
Mhm.
like just to be
Yes.
patient, because it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
And I'm sure you know that.
Yes, I do very well. And something that I reflect on often is how Jesus really, he only started with two apostles. He called Peter first, and then his brother Andrew. Later, he called James and John. And then from there, the other 8 apostles, to making it 12. That started his ministry. After that, 72 disciples. And then from there, we have our Catholic faith today. So reminding ourselves that, hey, we're not God. We're not Jesus. We can't do this ourselves, but also Jesus started so small in his ministry, and look at it today. So we have to be mindful of that, right? In our ministries, and not being so hard on ourselves during those times, I bet.
Yeah.
Has it been like that for you in starting it off now so far?
Yeah, definitely, because as we started with nothing pretty much, and kind of going from the ground up, it's been, I definitely have to be patient with myself in, growing the youth group. If it's like some nights are hit or miss, we don't have a lot of kids that come. Some nights we have a lot of kids that come. So it's just, being patient with that, and being patient with, trying to figure out the needs of the kids.
Yes.
And
getting to know them, growing that relationship with them as you get to know them, like any relationship.
Yeah.
The more you know someone, the more you know about them, the more you know their needs. So it's
Yeah.
so true like that.
Yeah. And like gaining their trust and their respect, and even like, their commitment to the youth group, being patient with that as well.
A lot of patience is needed. Something that maybe you have experienced, maybe not. Those youth ministers out there, those starting off, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But it's not just patience with ourselves and the group and the ministry we're starting, but also patience with the parents, right? We're not just dealing with the youth themselves, but parents. Maybe you have a parent that has a lot of questions, or they want to meet you, they want to gain your trust, and that's understandable, of course, for our parents out there. But that we need to have patience with them too, because it's not just us, it's a relational ministry.
Definitely.
And then, working with kids, working with youth, right? Those that are at a very fun age where they can have very fun personalities. Sometimes we need to be patient with the youth themselves, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you have that energetic kid that's like bouncing off the walls, and we need to pull all the sugar away because we can't give them anything else to get them riled up, getting excited. Sometimes we make adjustments within our ministry to kind of cater towards them. That means maybe sitting that person next to somebody that they're not going to distract, or putting a young adult helper, an adult helper in between them and another youth that are there, because they're going to be distracting each other. We have to have patience throughout, not just with ourselves, not just with the parents, with the youth themselves. We need to have a lot of patience. And so this is something that's always growing. You're always going to see different needs in the areas of patience. So don't put too much pressure on yourself, right? I bet you probably feel that, like you're putting a ton of pressure in the beginning.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely realized that I can't put pressure on myself. I can't expect things to be perfect, to go perfectly, because they're not.
Nope. There's 2 perfect people in this world. It's not us, Jesus and Mary, right? And so we need to not put pressure on ourselves. And I think, just to kind of end it off, is that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves and everything. It's our society, it's our culture, but in this, we need to just give it over to the Lord and say, Jesus, help me with this. Help form my ministry. Help make it where you want it to go. Put it on the right path, and then just trust in it. Of course, talk to other people. Talk to your pastors. If you have a spiritual director, talk about these things. And I think the most important thing to remember in having patience with ourselves is that it's a gift of the Holy Spirit, right? It's one of the virtues. And so pray to the Holy Spirit for it. If we see ourselves starting to lose our temper maybe, or just putting on a side of ourselves that we don't want the youth to see, because it's natural to have those emotions. It's natural to feel like you're gonna explode it sometimes. Just take a step back, take a breather, and just say, hey, this is the Lord's work. This is the work that I'm doing. and he's going to help me with it. So I
Yeah.
know at times it might feel that way, but talk to other people, have a venting source. But remember also confidentiality within all this. We don't want to say things that are going to get out there that we're like talking about others. So you have to be very careful with that. But I think if you're patient with yourself, patient with the youth themselves and those that we serve, God is gonna take over. So
Definitely.
remember, as you're moving in this ministry, if you're a young youth minister, baby, newbie youth minister like Sarah, have patience. If you're someone that's been around for a while, you have to be reminded to have patience and just pray, hope, don't worry, as St. Padre Pio said, and leave it in God's hands. So don't forget, those that you minister to, you are touching their hearts. And I think, Sarah, you probably have seen this already because it's something that happens very early on.
Yeah.
And if you touch their hearts, you touch their souls. So continue doing the Lord's work in touching hearts, and He will take over and lead you. So God bless you all. Thanks, Sarah, for being on.
Thank you. You're welcome.